What's up, guys? So, last time you saw this, we had to do brakes and some other like coolant stuff. So we got all that in. All the brakes are bled, everything runs great. I got all my parking brake stuff in. I got my Gilmer pulley all set, the engine's all timed, it's been running. So now what I'm going to do, I'll show you the Aces unit inside the car. So, you can see right here I got my blinkers and my battery indicator for my charge light. So we'll turn this on. Alright, so you can see I have measuring right here's my, technically this is the oil pressure. For some reason it reads as the fuel pressure because the gauge on the harness is a fuel pressure. I think you can change that though, but I have to figure that out. But I got my map PSI, so that's basically atmosphere. You got your TPS degree, so if I press in there, you can see I got my TPS. I still have to adjust a little bit just to kind of get the feel for everything, but yeah, engine coolant temp, so I've been running a little bit. It's 136. Got my IAC position currently until it runs at 60. This is my AFR. So right now it's reading 12.6, but it's not running. So this is my injector loop percent. So this is kind of how you can gauge how much your injectors are like running, like if the closed loop is pulling out or adding fuel. And then your injector pulse width, your open loop state, and your fuel learn. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Now, because the car's kind of loud, so I'm going to turn the car off while we do this, but now I'm going to show you how I record like data, so I can go back on the computer and we can edit it, look at what we're doing. So you get your USB stick and you get your little Aces USB-C adapter. And from what I've found, try and use a USB stick that's under 32 gigabytes or under, and format it to a FAT32. So you take this, you plug it in top of here. It's gonna be a little hard one. Okay, so you can see my USB is plugged in. It's blue light. The only weird thing I wish is that it was like a side entrance or something for this, because it's really annoying to have this in your dash and you have to like pull it out and do stuff. But you go to your little square button on the side, and we'll go to logging, and you'll go to setup, which is down here in the corner, and then you select your log objects, and then you select what you want. So we'll do RPM, we'll do my map, we'll do the engine coolant, barometric, do my TPS, my fuel pressure, which is technically my oil pressure. We'll do our wideband, and we'll do our actual AFR and our target AFR, and we'll do our pulse width and our injected learn. And that'll be good because I don't have anything else. So we'll do OK. We'll back out here, and then you'll start your log. And you can't monitor the screen while it's doing this, from what I've gathered. So we have to like turn this off. To set this down here. And then we start the car, and then we drive it around. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you what to do after. Then you press stop log. And then we go to USB disk. You find the one that you just did, which is this guy right here. This is mine. And then we copy it, yes, to the USB disk. Alright, back. So now it's on the USB disk. And we can turn the car off. So now we're going to take this guy inside, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on the computer. Okay, so now we got my USB plugged in from outside in the car. So you're going to go down to your folder, you're going to find your USB drive, you're going to open it. You're going to go to handheld ECU log is what it should be saved as. Open this, and you're going to see, this is the one that I recorded, was the 17.7.0.0.0.9. So then you're going to open up any type of like Google spreadsheet or really anything, and then you go File, Open, go to Upload, you browse, USB, you grab this scanner right here, you open it. Okay. So you can see here. So we have, this is, I started recording before I started the car. You can see a bunch of wonky values. And you can see car kind of started up, and then we got car running right here, so you got your RPM. Now my RPM is kind of weird because the rotary doesn't, the way the Aces, as far as I understand it, the way the Aces ECU views the spark events, it's like basically like a V8. So it's like the actual RPM that the car is experiencing is like double, sort of. It's like a 30% difference, I think. But the actual idle is actually technically lower. The ECU thinks it's like twice as fast. So let's go over what we got recorded. So here's your RPM. You got your manifold absolute pressure. So this is your pressure in PSI. You got your manifold air intake, or air temperature. So this is like your intake charge. This is your coolant temp. Here's your barometric pressure. This is like the pressure, like the static pressure, like outside. So like you see, it's like 13.9, 14, and that's like in relation. So you use your barometric will change based on like your altitude, your TPS percentage. You got our fuel pressure, which technically this is actually oil pressure. Just like I think I have to figure out how to set up the oil pressure read, like to read off of the fuel pressure sensor harness. I'm not sure how exactly to do it. It's a little weird. But you got your wideband voltage, and you got your target AFR, you got your actual AFR, you got your injector pulse width in microseconds, and this is the injector loop percent. So this is how much the learn is taking, or basically this is like how much of your fuel injector from that map is. Like it's like if it's like 90%, that means that the ECU is taking out 10% of fuel. And then you got your fuel learn, and the learn will only happen at certain temperatures and certain events. Like wide open throttle, it won't do it. It has to be like a stable state, I believe. It has to be above 160 degrees for your engine temp. You can technically adjust that so it'll learn at like different temperatures, but you probably don't want to do that because you're not going to be. That's just your warm up. You don't want to be learning in your warm up cycle. It doesn't really make much sense to do that. So what I'm going to see is my actual AFR. So I'm going to color my actual AFR. We'll dye this like yellow. And I want to see what my target AFR is. Well, my target will always be pretty much the same, I believe. Let's see, because I don't think I go anywhere too far. No, I do. Okay. So I do go into different. Okay. Up here, so we'll color this one light blue. Oops. Light blue. And then we will see. We'll color this guy orange. This is my manifold pressure. And then you got your TPS. And we'll color that a light green. Okay. So we'll go down, kind of look at, like, see how the engine's responding to different, like scenarios. So go down, back to where I'm actually driving. Okay, so like we'll say right here, this guy. So right now I'm at 7.9 psi of vacuum on the ECU. I'm not exactly sure how it's interpreting this because it reads 14 psi, 14.1 psi sitting idle. You can kind of like, there's not running, like off. You can see the car's off. It's reading 14.1, which is like technically, I think that's
your like absolute pressure, like your absolute pressure from the atmosphere is like 14.1 or 14.2 or something. So I think that's what it's reading. So then if the number goes lower than 14.1, you're in vacuum on the ECU, but your tables read in kPa, so it's like kind of confusing to try and figure these numbers out. I hope that they adjust these in the future to make it a little more legible. Because like the Holly stuff, like I can go through and I can adjust the Holly things and know exactly what's going on because they use one unit of measurement across the entire thing. This is like a mixture of like metric and like imperial units and psi and kPa and absolute pressure, and it's just like it gets kind of confusing. It also would be nice if they had lambda instead of AFR, so you could tune for any fuel you like. You can do it, you just have to be mindful of what this is going on. But all right, so let's go back down and check. We'll go to this row right here. We're at 9 psi on the map sensor, so negative 9 psi. I guess technically it'd be negative something, but you can see we have what was this one again? Oh, your TPS. So my TPS for where'd it go? Was it 0.1? So we'll just go this guy. So TPS is 0.1. So this is throttle plate closed, idling at 897. So this is like my idle area. It's reading. We want 13.5. Looks like we're getting 13.5. So that's pretty good. So here's your injector pulse width. Pretty stable. So now let's go to where we're like actually driving. So we'll see like where's here's a good one. So we'll do like this guy. So now we're at 7.5 on the map. Oh wait, where's my? Oh, why is my TPS not? I want to find one with a TPS. Why is it TPS not reading? That's interesting. Maybe it only reads in tenths. It's very strange. Here's one where it's open. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we'll look at this guy. I must have just been coasting when I was recording. You can also change your rate, your interval of how much data gets recorded. I think I chose the longest, so you're not going to see a ton. But like, here's one where we'll say right here. So we're at 14.1. Throttle's open. All right, no, I don't like that one either because this is like startup. Why is it not? Here's a little bit. It's 200 RPM. See, this should be. This might be from when I was coasting though, because I'm still trying to work on my return to idle state. But there should be. It might not have recorded it. Just didn't have enough intervals. Okay, well, I'll have to change the intervals. But we'll say right here. So we're at 700 RPM. We're at 8.1 psi on the map. So we're in vacuum. And we have TPS is 3.1. This is probably not completely accurate, but we're looking for 13.5, and we're getting 12.6. So what you can do is you can find this area on your map. So if you go into here, go to Aces, and we open up our Killshot, well, or whatever unit you have, mine's a Killshot, and we'll go to our fuel, and we will go to our VE table. So I'm just using the stock default. They're technically kind of the same, but you can set up these however you want. But I have copied on strip or stock mild system default are the same for me, and the street rates are different, but I'm using the system default. So we're going to open up a file, go here, we go to Aces EFI Killshot. This is the last tune that I pulled off, or base tune. So you can see how this gets a little confusing because the map is reading 8.1, right? And this would be at 1700 RPM. So like 8.1 would probably be somewhere around here, I'm guessing. And you can see this. So this is 63. This is like an estimate. So we're estimating that it's 63% efficient at this RPM and at this kPa. So then you can see if we go to our AFR table, target AFR rule right here. So you see how we're commanding 13.5 and we're getting 12.6. So what you can actually do, it's about, roughly like what 10%. It's 10% too rich. So if you go to your system default VE and you go to that area, so like you probably want to change like kind of like this area-ish, because this is kind of where we're at and right here. And you can see like, and you don't want to just change it based on one number. So you can actually see like it's far richer along the entire axis. And I can actually, you know what, I'll show it a little bit better than that. So what we'll do is we'll take our map, our target, and our actual, and we will make a chart. So we'll go insert chart. What is green? What the heck is green? All right, one sec. Let me delete this. Let me keep it. All right, let me just hide everything that's not what we want. So we'll hide these. Where's the hide? Hide columns. We'll hide these. This one we will also hide. All right, there we go. And so now we will highlight these. We will insert chart. There we go. So now you can see. What is the? Oh, I gotta get rid of some erroneous data. One second. Let's delete this. Yeah, this. We need to get rid of this guy. So we will get rid of this row. Delete row. There we go. Now we should get a nice clean chart. Chart. There we go, beautiful. Okay, so you can see your. Can I move you over, please? Why is this not letting me? Well, alright. So, we have red is our target AFR. Yellow is our actual AFR, and blue is our map. So what we can see is if you look right here, you can see that the entire actual AFR is quite a bit richer, which I did that on purpose to just maintain safety for the car. And you can actually kind of see that when the when your map pressure goes down. So when you're pulling a little more vacuum, or when you're giving it more throttle, so you're losing. Technically, you're losing the vacuum at that point, but you're basically your throttle pedal's open, and you can see that it leans out. And it does that almost every single time. So you close this, goes back down, open it, leans out. And you can see it kind of follows that path, because what you're doing with the map is it's kind of showing you your throttle position. And if I had the throttle position data, you'd be able to actually see it. It would follow the ratio of my throttle position sensor. But so how we can adjust this, so say I want like right here, so we'll look at this data point right here. It should tell me should tell me like I want to see if I can find this data point. But that would be roughly I'm trying to see if I can find a good way to I want to be able to pull this up. Well, I'll figure that out later. But so you can kind of see where it's always running rich. So what we can do is we'll get rid of this and say like, you know, we want it to be somewhere around here 9. We should be kind of like 20 kPa or 30 kPa on here, somewhere around this area. And we're at RPMs like roughly, let's see, get rid of our RPMs back. We'll say like, you know, 1400 or so. 12.3. So what you can do is you can offset this value. It's roughly 10%, so I'm just going to go minus 10% because it's too rich. So you can, boom, And that will bring this. Basically, it'll the ECU will see that your commanded AFR. Um, it'll adjust the injector pulse width in this area because of this efficiency based on the AFR you want in the map. So that's kind of how you go through and tune these. It's a lot easier if you can do it with the laptop plugged in, but then you also can't have your dash plugged in, which is kind of a pain in the butt. So it's kind of weird to street tune this because they don't have a CAN splitter yet. I know that they're talking about having a CAN splitter, and that would be absolutely amazing because then I wouldn't have to like pull my dash out every time I want to put the USB stick in and measure it, or unplug my dash and plug in the laptop. But hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of how I'm going about tuning the car. Drop any questions down below. Thanks for watching.